Socialism's grandpa going into the manosphere. Bernie Sanders showing up on the Flagrant podcast, getting called out for supporting Dems after the DNC screwed him in the primaries.
I'm a lifelong Democrat. I felt like the Democratic Party completely removed the democratic process from its constituents. And I think they need to have some accountability of that.
No argument here.
Ostensibly, there hasn't been a fair primary for the Democrats since 2008. Are they not also a threat to democracy? Yes. We often hear.
Fair enough. That is, yeah, I'm not going to argue with that point. You got a democratic establishment now, which is funded by wealthy people. You have consultants who are really way out of touch with reality, who make a whole lot of money in campaigns, and working class is ignored.
Suggested you can disagree with like his policies or whatever, but there's one thing I have to say about him that is so different than the majority of the people on your side, the people running, is that he doesn't have a filter. You can tell that he's not, when he's talking, he's not thinking about what he's supposed to say. And that's what you need. I mean, it's kind of sad. He's like going into his 9th decade and he's the strongest person you have.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but Bernie's the genuine article. He's completely authentic. He's always been this way. You know, like it or don't like it. And one of the risks that you do run if you want to go on podcasts with people who have different political views is that some Democrats may say some things that you don't agree with. And that net, if he sits there for a couple hours, he's going to say 90% of the things that you do like and 10% of the things that you don't. And I still think that it's a win because it also, you know, represents to people who maybe didn't vote for Kamala Harris or have become disenchanted with Democrats to say, oh, there's someone in this party that I think is great. But on the merits of this argument that he's making and that Andrew Schultz is making that we haven't had a fair primary since 2008, I call BS. Bernie Sanders has never been able to get a strong base of support with Black voters in this country. They are too conservative for him. They're conservative on immigration. They're conservative on health care. He comes in, he runs as a socialist. He's a democratic socialist. He's not even a straight Democrat. He says Medicare for all, health care for people who are here undocumented. So, you know, in 2016, did the DNC want Hillary to win? 100%, but they fake those extra 4 million votes that she got. And in 2020, Biden won as well by millions of votes because he was the centrist moderate candidate.
Kennedy's going to explode. Go.
Superdelegates, man. And Bernie said it in 2016. He was railroaded by the superdelegates. They were baked into the cake. These were people who could vote any way they wanted. And Debbie Wasserman Schultz said that the reason the Democrat Party was set up the way it was to make sure people like Bernie Sanders could not make it through the process and become the nominee. So why did they change the rules and get rid of superdelegates in 2018? Because Bernie was still very much a threat. And then in 2020, well, guess what? Joe Biden was the nominee, yes, because Jim Clyburn endorsed him at a very critical moment before the South Carolina primary. But guess who's back in the Democrat Party? Superdelegates. And you know what? Bernie Sanders used your party as long as it benefited him. And it made his name recognition massive. He was able to sell books. And now he's rich. And now the party doesn't mean anything to him anymore. He wants to be Mr. Authentic again, give AOC the mantle in his talking points. So he's burning the whole thing down because he's a commie.
You're a goddamn genius.
Goddamn genius.
Damn, Skippy.